Let's get going. Welcome everybody to our August edition of the general membership meeting. I have a favorite Grateful Dead song called Truckin'. And one of the great lines in it is, what a long, strange trip it's been. And that's pretty much what 2020 has been, a long, strange trip. I'll be glad when it's over. It's not been the best year for many different things. But anyways, we're still here. We're still Zooming. And we're going to continue on as best we can as a club. We've had some great workshops, and we've got more coming up, and we've had some great demos, and we've got more of those coming up, and we're getting towards the end of the year, so we got to figure out what we're going to do for Christmas and things like that. So the board is working on all that, so we'll have some announcements on that very soon. I think it's safe to say we're going to be Zooming through at least the end of the year. I don't know about next year. I have to wait and see what the governor and the health officials say. But for now, this is our meeting place. I wanted to see if we have any guests today. Are there any guests here today? If you are here, unmute and introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Ed Hawk. I'm Ian's grandfather. I'm Ian Frederick's grandfather.
Okay, Ed, well, welcome. Welcome.
And he sent me a link here to watch my grandson.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. Welcome.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we're looking forward to Ian's demo. He always does great work. So, anybody else? Okay, moving on then. And if you see me putting my head down, it's because I've got notes and I'm checking them off and writing notes and things. I had it in my letter to everybody, all the membership, but I'm going to reiterate it. We think we've got things kind of cleaned up with the problems we've had with the membership list. However, as a last check, we would like everybody to go in on the website to the members section and check your information on the membership list. If you see any mistakes in it or any changes you need to have made, please contact Cindy Yates, and you can find her contact information under the club info tab on our website, and let her know the changes you want to have made, and she will get that made for you. So, just a reminder, Steve Rohr is our mentor, and he is there ready to help you with any problems that you have, whether you're a new turner or you're a seasoned turner and you're having problems with something. You can contact Steve and he'll set up a Zoom meeting with you using our account. And that's just a reminder. Steve is a great guy, great turner, and you know, take advantage of that. That's a big club privilege you have there, so take advantage of it.
Jeff, people
Yes.
may not know how to get to the list to see if their information's correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You go to our website, and on the left-hand side of the screen, you scroll down to where you see members only. Put your cursor right over that and wait a second, and you'll see another little bubble pop up that says members videos. So you would slide over to the members videos to see the Harvey video that we did last month. But if you stay on the members only part and click on that, the list will come up. It may ask you for a password, and I sent that out to everybody by way of email. If you get stuck, you don't remember the password, contact me, and I will get it for you. But yeah, if you just click on that, you'll get to the membership list. If you hold the cursor on that without clicking for a second, you'll also see the bubble pop up to get to members videos. So I hope that answers the question.
You want me to show that?
Sure. Yeah.
So on the here, click on members only. See, it pops up the little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that. It should ask you for a password. I hope I remember it. No, I don't. So never mind. But if you click here, the list will pop up.
Yeah. And go back to the main web page itself.
Sure.
I have found that where it says members only, if you put your cursor over it, if you want to see the video, sometimes you got to wait 1 or 2 seconds before that members only video pops up. So that's something to bear in mind. I've had a couple people call me on it, and they just go to members only and they click on it, and then they just see the mailing list. They don't see the videos, and they don't understand why. Some computers are slow. It depends on the age of the computer or the type. So thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome.
It's also being served by the internet, so if your internet connection is slow, then that might be part of why the thing takes a while to pop up.
Yeah. Yes. I notice on my tablet it takes about a second. On my PC, it's instantaneous. So, okay, workshops. Chuck has graciously once again volunteered to do our August workshop, and it's going to be on spatulas, which I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be a cool one. It's not the normal thing that we've done. So really looking forward to it. Now, one caveat to that is Chuck is not available next Saturday, so we're actually doing it on Saturday the 29th at 10 o'clock. Why is that? I'm looking at my calendar right now, and something doesn't look right. So, okay. So, yeah, it was the 29th, wasn't it, Chuck?
It is the 29th, Jeff.
Okay, very good. We do need somebody to do the September and October and November workshops. And Chuck has also graciously offered that if you're concerned about doing the camera and doing the turning, and you're concerned about not having the proper equipment, he'll come out and he'll do the camera work for you. He'll bring his equipment with him. So something to bear in mind. I'd like to see some new faces. We've had Chuck and Matt doing a lot of workshops and demos, and that's been absolutely phenomenal. And I really appreciate it, guys. I thank you a million times over. But we'd like to see some new faces. I am trying to figure out, I'm thinking on doing one. I'm trying to figure out what I can do that's a little different, that I feel comfortable teaching on. So you may see my face pop up at one of those. So anyway, so that's September 26th, October 24th. We'd like to get somebody to volunteer for that. PCAC, I got a call or an email from Nancy, and they are offering, she's part of a restoration committee for the Oak Hill Cemetery in Pontiac, and she has offered, if anybody in the club was interested in getting any planks that came from the mausoleum, the roof of the mausoleum. And I'm going to pull up a picture here and show you real quick. I just figured out how to do this morning. At least I thought I figured it out. There we go. So PCAC. Can everybody see this okay? Oh, that's a picture of some of the wood. But it's been there a long, long time, and they've pulled it out of the roof of the mausoleum. If anybody's interested, they have got a lot of it for you. And if you're interested, let me know. I'll get you Nancy's contact information. Also, along with that, they've asked, they're going to be doing a fundraiser for the restoration on September 20th, and they asked if anybody in the club would be interested in using some of these old planks to make small turnings that they can sell as part of their fundraiser. If you are interested in doing that, contact me. I'll get you Nancy's contact information. Or you can probably call the PCAC and let them know you're interested in doing that. Either way, if you do decide you want to do that, let me know so I can kind of keep track of who's helping out with that. So are there any questions on that?
Also, they're doing a brick sale, Jeff. Have you seen that on their Facebook page?
No, I haven't. It wasn't mentioned.
Go to their Facebook page for the PCAC.
Okay.
They're selling bricks for a donation of 5 to whatever to save the wall on the street side.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get rid of this.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
How thick is that wood from the mausoleum?
Well, it looks like it's probably 3/4, but it could be 1 inch because back in those days, 1 by was 1 by.
Right.
I know I pulled some planks out of a roof that of an old house that I had that I was putting a new roof on, and they were 1 inch thick, and they're probably very hard too. And
Okay.
they're ugly looking, but they're probably gorgeous on the inside.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Creative Art Center. There we go. Oop.
Jeff, do we know what kind of wood it is?
No. No, she does not know. It's old wood. And it's probably wood that they milled right there on site when they were building it.
Sponsor a brick. There it is.
There we are. Okay, let's pull that up.
So that wall is going bad, and they have to have it completely tuck pointed
Oh,
and redone from scratch.
okay.
It's got a lot of water damage, etc. So you can buy a brick. You can buy any number of bricks you want. They're $5 a piece. I shared it on my Facebook page. I know a couple people in my family gave like $5. So
Okay.
it's on their Facebook page, or you can just take this link, and if you click on the actual thing, it'll get to it and sponsor a brick. But
Okay.
yeah.
So when you sponsor a brick, is that one of those situations where they put your name on the brick, or they give you one of the old bricks?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
You should ask.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I've done that at the Detroit Zoo. I sponsored a brick when they were restoring the fountain.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me get out of this and get
Even
back
if
to.
every member in our club bought one brick, that would still be $1,000.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, stop sharing. There we go. Okay, thank you, Chuck. Okay. Okay. Before we move on, a couple more announcements. September's demo is going to be Cindy Yates doing it. And Cindy, I can't remember what it was you were going to be demoing.
I'm going to be demoing, it kind of goes with Christmas and canning, because people are canning now. So I'm going to do mason jar decorative lids.
Okay, cool. Looking forward to it. And then October, we have Matt. We had Matt lined up for July, and then we ended up bringing in the Pro Turner. So Matt says, you can move me off. So we moved him to October. And Matt, did we talk about what you were going to be doing?
I had talked about doing the how to align things for natural edge turning.
That's right.
So you get things that are uneven.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that would be interesting, but it's up to you guys. If you want something else, I'd be happy to do anything.
Well, that's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. You know, because when we, we're a great club. We don't criticize anybody, but we do critique and offer. And I've had quite a few bowls where people said, if you moved it just a little bit this way, it would have been, and that's good advice. So, and I've seen Al Sturt do his thing with his special jig, and I made one, and the bowl came flying off and halfway across my shop. So I don't know if I made it right or not. But I don't like flying bowls. I got a bad feeling about flying bowls. So anyway, I think that would be great. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I try to set it up so that I do it at the very beginning. So you're making the tenon, at the point where you've already offset it. So you're holding it. It's pretty safe. So.
Okay. Very good. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item. We're done with the announcements. Does anybody have an announcement? I should ask that. Does anybody have an announcement they want to make about anything? Okay. Next up, tool review. Does anybody have a tool they want to show us and tell us a little bit about it? And it doesn't have to be a new tool either.
Well, I could show you guys one of the things that I've showed a number of people this, but I can show people a little bit about one of the tools that I've made. And I really, really like it. I'm now using it as my go-to. What it is I bought an inexpensive parting tool, Benjamin Best parting tool. And I altered the end of it a little bit. Let me switch over here and switch to this camera here. And what I did is I put a small slant on it, on the tool. So it's a normal parting tool, but if you look at the tip of it, it's slightly slanted, okay? And what that lets me do is it lets me get in and undercut things. So I can still do a flat cut if I turn the tool a little bit, okay? But when I'm going in straight, the one part is ahead of the other part. If I don't know if that makes sense. So it's not entirely flat across the top. And I really like it. It was an experiment to see if I could make it work right. And I've told a bunch of people this, but this is like my go-to parting tool now.
Cool.
So.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Has anybody else got anything?
Well, I do about the same with mine some time ago, but it matches the angle of my chuck jaws at the same time.
So you use it for making your tenons?
Yeah, I can, especially for small stuff.
Okay.
Or at least setting the angle, then I can put a bigger tool and keep the same angle.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just lazy.
I just use my 1-inch skew. So, any other tool reviews that we want to do?
I would like to bring something up.
Okay.
I needed working on a bowl here, and I needed some faceplates, so I went online and on Amazon, and I ordered from a it's called Woodworker Specialty, Max Woods, and I ordered 3 faceplates. And as you can see, this faceplate is a 3/4 one. I need a 1/8, and I got 3 of them. So I called him up and I said, "You sent me the wrong ones." And I looked at the order and he says, "Well, no, I bought the wrong ones." And he says, "You know what?" He says, "I'll do you a favor." I says, I'm gonna send you out what you want, and you go ahead and keep those, and maybe you have a friend." So then we got talking, and I says, "Well, I belong to the club." And he says, "Okay." Well, I says, "What I'm gonna do is I'll put these, when we get a chance, we'll put these up in a raffle." But meanwhile, this guy I was talking to him, he's from Canada, and he was really, really nice. He said, "Don't worry about it. I'll just send you out what you thought you were gonna order." And I don't know if you see all that, but so I wanted to give him a plug because he didn't know I was part of a club. He didn't know anything, and he's just like, "Okay, I will." He's going to send me out 3 plates that I bought, so I'm going to get 3 more plates. I'll take these 3. I got a 2-inch, a 3-inch, and a 4-inch, and I'll put them in the raffle once we get back to the club. But I wanted to give him a little shout out, and he also says, "Give me a chance," that because we also have a store, and I'll give that to Mike and see if there's anything they can give us deal on the store or anything. But I thought it was good when you have a company like that has, he didn't have to. I ordered wrong.
What's your spindle diameter on the ones you have?
I need a 1/8, and these here are 3/4 by 16.
Okay.
So I ordered the wrong ones. My paperwork all says I just pushed the wrong button or something. And instead of he says, "Here, keep those. I'll send you out what you wanted." And like I said, when I got a company like that, and the guy's been in business for over 25 years, so I just thought I would put that little plug out there for him. And you'll be seeing these. I'll save these, and when we get back in the club, maybe we'll have a special raffle for him. I got 3 plates here, brand new. So
Yeah, we could do a raffle online. Don't we have that capability,
We do.
Mr. Jeff? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Chuck says we do, so I got to talk to Chuck, figure out how to do that.
It's just
so maybe we can set that up for a later date.
for everybody.
And
Mr. Fireman, can you put the link in the chat, please?
sure.
Thank you.
Very cool, Tom.
Now I gotta put my glasses back on if I'm gonna do that. How do I put it into
Just click on the chat button at the bottom.
okay. Because right now is doing private chats. I'm stuck on Matt.
click on Matt, and then there should be a drop down to go to everyone.
God, you got it. Okay, I'll put his information in there. And really nice guy, Bob, his name, and like I said, he didn't have to do that. I could mail it back and get the right ones, but he said, find a friend, he said. So I said I have a lot of friends, maybe. Okay, that's what I got.
I don't know if Henry's with us today, but we'll get that link out on our links page for our website too.
Yep.
Right.
So, okay, any other tools?
One other thing that you can do with those face plates is you can make tailstock mounts for like a sphere jig for yourself or something like that with one of them, and it'd be perfect for that.
So I'd have to buy like a
No, you've got to put it on your tailstock. You've got a 3/4 10 usually is what they are. Or is that 3/4 16?
This is 3/4 16.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Never mind.
Oh, thank you, Paul. But I have, like I
That's
said,
a nice idea.
3 inch, a 1 inch, and a 4 inch. And I still can't work on my project now. But they're actually very nice. So
Okay, any other tools?
Yeah, Jeff,
Yeah.
this is Dennis. I wanted to point out, Grizzly used to make faceplates with interchangeable inserts for the thread. They don't do that anymore. And I got a couple, but one thing they are selling out now are these inserts, threaded inserts. They have them on the closeout because they don't make them anymore. They've got all different sizes. I got 1 1/4 by 8, which also comes with the 3 mounting bolts or little cap screws. I think it's $5.37. So if you want to make a faceplate, you can get these inserts and screw it in place once you put the hole in, and then you put your circle with the 3 screw positions and mount them. So if you got interest in that, all their threaded inserts are on closeout sale now.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you.
And another faceplate company, Carter, makes them to where you can change the hub. And I use them quite a bit. They're really nice. And they have the centering tool for both of them, both sizes. Because I have multiple size headstock lathe. And when I do a lot of the work, I like leaving the faceplate screwed to it.
Yeah. One thing I like that Grizzly used to make, I don't think they make it anymore, but I bought a 3-jaw scroll chuck, a machinist or a metal lathe, which had the place to put the insert, and I've got it so I can mount that on my wood lathe. And it comes in very handy at times. It's a good sturdy 3-jaw scroll chuck.
Yeah, I like, and I haven't used the Carter faceplate system too. I like it a lot.
Carter's got good products. I'm saving up my pennies for a bandsaw tension release for my bandsaw. Because I hate changing blades, and that would make it a lot easier.
Get the deep hollowing system with the bars that I designed for them. I get a few pennies every time they sell them.
Yeah, I think that's what Dave Meyer has. I think he's got the Carter deep hollowing.
Yeah, I have it too. I love it.
Yep. I've got the Lyle Jameson. So,
all right, I put that information on the chat.
Thank you very much. And I'll make sure it gets onto the website. Anything else on tools? Okay, let's see here. Can we get back to Spotlight and me? Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, it's time for the Facebook challenge, picking a winner. We had 27 entries this month. The last one coming in roughly yesterday morning. So I'm going to get my randomizer going here. I'm going to click a button. Number 20. Number 20 is Paul Guilbeau. Am I pronouncing that right? Okay.
Did you get them all in there? Because I posted one last night.
You posted for the President's Challenge.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
a Facebook challenge. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do Facebook challenge every month. We're just trying to get people to post on Facebook because it was basically dying out. So Paul wins a gift certificate for Craft Supply. Now we're going to do the President's Challenge.
What is the Facebook challenge?
The Facebook challenge is you simply go to the Detroit Area Woodturners Facebook page and post. Post a picture, post a question, anything. Nothing political. It's got to be wood turning related or wood related or woodworking related. But just post on it, and if you post on it, you get your name on the list for a chance to win a certificate once a month. And you can post 10 times, but you only get one chance at winning. So, but you know, we're trying to build up, you know, more and more people using Facebook because that is a big plus for our club. And it's a great tool. It is a great tool, and I think Matt and a lot of the other guys will attest to this. You know, we get a lot of questions answered. You know, if you got a problem, you put it out there, and you know, within minutes you'll start getting responses. You know, so.
Thank you.
Okay, so President's Challenge, we had 9 people post images for President's Challenge. The very first one was Dave Meyer the next day, and the last one was Matt Harbor, which came in last night. So before I pick out a name, I want to show you the images. It's been suggested I do this, and now that I know how to do this, I feel special. Okay, here we go. Okay. Alfred? Dave Meyer? Glenn McCullough? And these are not in any particular order. James Lindsay? That's the one that came in late last night. Matt Harbor. Matthew Valentine, our newest member. He's only been turning for just over a month, and he hasn't figured out how to do lids yet, but I said send it on over, we'll get it in the challenge. Paul Newberger. Paul Zirkle. Excuse me, Paul Zirkle. Phil Stevens. And I think that is all of them. Yep. So, beautiful work, everybody. You did great jobs. Harvey would be proud of you. So, let's go back into the meeting. Okay, so 9 people. Let's set the randomizer for 9. Okay, let's get it up here. And boom. Number 5. Number 5 was Paul Zirkle. Paul, you win a certificate. So now you can take that certificate and buy $1,000 worth of stuff and get a discount. Congratulations to both Pauls. So we now come to the highlight of our meeting, and that's our demonstration. Are you ready, Ian?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's highlight Ian.
I think we've
Excellent.
got the technical issues worked out, and
okay,
yeah, looks like we're set up.
And
All
right.
Jennifer is his official camera person for the day. So he's a real pro now. Look at that. So,
Apparently.
So
yeah.
all the bobbles and weaves, we blame Jen. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what we do.
That's right. Including if she drops the camera. So, so okay, it's all yours, my friend.
All right. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ian Frederick. I started turning wands when I was 12, and I've since made a business out of it. And now I've expanded into pens and rings. This is my little 20-foot shop. we're just going to do a quick glance over. I have 2 lathes. I've got a nice box of sandpaper, some finishing stuff, some organizers. We bought these pegboards when we started. These have been real lifesavers. If you have a beginner shop, these pegboards are really nice. Hold your tools. They can hold your helmets, your turning jackets, anything you need. I've got 2 workbenches. This one has all my stuff for our demo here. A dust collector that is working questionably. I've got a toaster oven for starting to stabilize wood. We haven't actually started with that yet, but we're getting there. Belt sander, bandsaw, drill press, scroll saw, table and chop saw. And we've got a rack for organizing the woods we use frequently. And then kind of off in the corner behind all this sheeting, there's a bigger rack back there that is kind of deep storage. Grinder, toolbox. This kind of has all of the smaller assorted tools in it. It's also being a pen kit organizer right now. But yeah, I don't have a lot, but you don't need much. I want to talk briefly about the tools that I use. I've started using the skew a lot more. This is a really nice all-around tool. Many of you guys are familiar with this. That is great for doing roughing. It makes great cuts. It's great for doing simple detail work. For a little more complex detail work, I'll generally use a fingernail gouge. This is really handy for making small rounds, small intricate details. Before I kind of started using the skew, I would use a roughing gouge for almost everything. If you get good with it, you can make really nice clean cuts, and it's great for getting stuff squared around if you're not good with a skew. And then I always have a parting tool on hand, just a parting tool. Sometimes I'll use it for detail work, but I generally don't use it for much more than it's intended. I have a bowl gouge. I don't use it all that much. I know a lot of you guys really like your bowl gouges. I don't think it's as helpful for spindle work as a skew or a roughing gouge. I started on a round nose scraper, but I generally prefer to cut over scrape. So I think that's just personal preference. I have a deck spindle mounted up right now from the deck that we just tore out. This is an older cedar, 20 years old or something. So this is nice and soft. This will be a great demonstration for getting squared around. Oh, the helmets. This is the helmet I use for turning. Most of you guys have one of these. These are great. Just simple, nice and tough. And then I also have one of the Trend air shields. These do run a pretty penny, but they are absolutely worth it. And I think all of you guys should have one. They use a positive pressure to blow air through the shield, and they're filtered out up here. So that eliminates breathing dust from sanding. You can wear it while you're turning. It's more than safe enough. I usually don't, but definitely for sanding, every one of you guys should have these. Just a little button on the back. It runs, just not hard. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it's better than having wrecked lungs. So I think everyone should have one of these. That out of the way. To briefly square it around, I would either use a roughing gouge, or if you're good with a skew, use a skew for this. So I'll just do a little demonstration with that. forgot to mention speed. When you're doing spindle turning, I tend to turn as fast as I possibly can. Obviously, don't turn faster than you are comfortable with. My lathe will turn from 430 to 3900 RPM. I generally turn at 3900 RPM. I know that sounds
Hey, Ian?
insane.
Ian?
Yep.
Real quickly, we have somebody asking what the name of the helmet that you just showed.
The air helmet,
Yeah.
it's a Trend Air Shield Pro.
Yes.
They generally run about $400.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty penny, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah. And I want to add to that, they're little battery packs. They come with a charger that literally will burn out the battery because it's not intelligent. So I got an intelligent charger for mine. And I built a system for charging it. And if you get this and you want, and over a period of time, your battery pack wears out, which they always do, contact me. I'll send you the information for rebuilding the battery pack so you don't have to spend $80 on it. You can rebuild it for about
Yes,
25.
The battery packs do wear out if you're not careful with charging them, and they'll wear out over time anyway.
Yeah.
I haven't had that issue, but it does happen. Be warned.
Yeah. But you don't have to spend $80 to replace them. They're actually not hard to rebuild. So, okay.
I've heard
Thank
they're
you.
not too bad.
Okay, I'll mute now.
Okay. I generally turn at 3900 for spindle turning. I know that sounds insane to a lot of you bolt turners, but just kind of trust me on that one. It's a lot smaller, so it's not as fast as it sounds.
No objection from me, man. Go for it.
Yeah. So that has given me kind of a rounder surface to work with, and this gets progressively easier as time goes on and you get it more round. This piece is also not totally square, which makes it a lot easier. Turning down square pieces can be scary, but it's really not all that different than turning a round piece. You just have to take it slow, be careful with it. This is a much softer wood, so it came down a lot easier. With harder woods, you will have to pay attention to how fast you're taking it down. So I think with that, we've got it completely round. There are a few ridges from just my lack of practice with the skew, but that will come out easy in sanding, and it's pretty smooth. So that is always a good start. So you can see the difference between here and here in just a little bit of time. Generally for one turning, which is what I'll be focusing today, you will want to get it down to a smaller size. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time just sitting here turning this because it's the same process. So I'm going to take this off of here. Remic myself here. So that is our first piece. I'm going to put this on. So this is a piece of Bacote. It's a little bit rougher because I did this with the rough and gouge. This started off a lot smaller than the deck spindle did. This is also far harder than any cedar will ever be. I prefer to work with harder woods. It makes you take your time a little bit more, and you can get finer detail work, which is what I'm going to do with this. So I have a general kind of shape outlined, but I haven't really done any kind of detail-oriented work. Doing one turning, you'll probably want, so a little bit of waste block on each side. You're always going to lose a little bit. Find that generally you want about 2/3 shaft to a third handle with a little center detail work. And then you're probably going to lose this somewhere back here. And then a little detail work on the end. These are just rough outlines. If you're new to doing this kind of work, it is helpful to mark your pieces, just so you have a clue of where you're going. So this is kind of a preemptive show of our display here. I think we've got 30 lined up in here, and I'm holding one of them. So I'll kind of take this over to the lathe. And you can see that this kind of follows those general guidelines. So you can see we lost it here. Handle goes out to roughly here, detail in the center, and then the rest of it is out to the tip. This will probably be a lot more fingernail gouge work than it will be skew work. So you'll kind of have a demonstration on that. Did it again. Dropped it again. So hopefully you can see how I'm kind of rounding the tool over to make a more round cut, and then just taking it straight down for more of a flat surface. So what I'm trying to do there is get this side down to a more reasonable size. As you saw in the other one, usually the front will be much skinnier than the back on the shaft. This one's going to come out a little fatter because I didn't do as much work getting it down to a smaller size, but this still does need to come down. And this looks very rough, but that'll come out in sanding pretty quick. This piece seems to be particularly hard, so giving me a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. Yeah. I'm going to leave this alone for right now, but this kind of gives you a general idea from where you're trying to go from round to shaped. Get my tools out of here. So in between those two stages, or this stage and the next stage, I would sand it down to at least a 600. I usually start at that's 80. I usually start at 120. I don't normally use an 80. And then I'll go at least up to 600. Usually I'll take it a lot farther than that because I like to have a very smooth and shiny finish. I don't remember who gave me these sanding pads, but these have been an absolute blessing. I have clearly used the crap out of them and washed them several times. So these have been an absolute blessing. These work fantastic. I don't know who makes them, but these have been absolutely amazing. So that's a 240, right? They're kind of like almost a screen, I guess. They've got like a Velcro material on the back, and then on the front they're just sandpaper, and they last practically forever. I haven't worn any of them out yet, and I've used the crap out of them. So if you can get your hands on these are amazing.
Ian, those are Abranet from Merca. I'll put a link in the chat.
If I can add something real quick, guys. There's a
I'm sorry, if
store,
you guys,
there's a store in Maple in Rochester. It's on the north side of Maple. On the west side of Rochester, they have about 4 million different abrasives there. The guy's name is Opie, like from the old Andy Griffith show. Opie. If you want to buy any kind of abrasive, he's got it, guaranteed.
so this is another one that I did the other day. This is a lot more shaped, and this is also sanded down, but this has no finish on it. This was also one of those cedar deck spindles. So I'm just gonna mount this up gently because it is a little thinner down here and down there. It's not particularly hard. So I'm going to show you kind of how I would normally do my finish work. I use the, I always use the friction polish that the club makes, or I'll make my own sometimes. This stuff works great. I know all you guys use this, so I usually use this pretty generously, but I only generally put one layer on because I put more wax over it. So, and this is another process where speed is your friend. Get a pretty good grip on it, and then polish that layer. I only finished the shaft end so you guys can see the difference that this makes. So that kind of shows you the difference in a finished wood and a non-finished wood. You can see right there where the finish stops. This has a considerable amount more color, and this also has a far better shine. So I will continue with that. Now with this kind of detail work, you just have to make sure that you get the paper towel down in there as best you can. Finishing those can be difficult sometimes, but you just have to make sure you cover it and polish it the best you can. So that kind of gives you a good idea of what you're working with now. Much shinier, much smoother. This particular, like these cedar deck spindles, you can really feel the grain in them. And that'll kind of smooth it out too. If you have a wood that you can feel it, that'll help kind of smooth that out. So on top of those, I use the Hut Perfect Pen Polish sticks. These are great. They work on pretty much everything. You put this brown one on first, and then I don't know what kind of wax this is, but this is kind of a satin finish. And then If you want, you can put this on over it. This is just carnauba wax. And that will give you a better shine, and will give you a shine that doesn't fog over, get cloudy, etc. So you want to apply directly to the wood, and you want to apply generously. And this takes a lot of heat to work in. So this is kind of a test of patience. Just kind of sitting there working all this wax into your finish. You definitely want to apply generously, because if you don't, it'll come out patchy. And that kind of doesn't look so great. So that kind of smooths out your finish. I'm not going to put the carnauba on this. I'm actually going to move on to a lot of my color finishes. A lot of you guys have asked about that at club meetings and stuff. So I'm going to demonstrate 3 in particular, and then I'll talk about a couple more that have worked with a varying success. So this is just a poplar dowel rod. Usually for my color finishes, I'll use poplar or birch because they're very white and they take colors very well. I actually have used crayon for this before. Crayons are wax based, so they finish up really good, and they provide kind of a pastel style color. So what? This is another case of apply generously. Crayons are cheap. Don't be afraid to use the whole thing. And you really have to polish this out really good. So you can see how much the color smoothed out there. Before it looked really stripy and patchy, and now it's very smooth. And this will actually make a really great feeling finish, and it won't scrape off. And you get this crazy green color. Of course, this works with every kind of crayon you can buy. I haven't tried like oil crayons or anything like that, but and I'll also use inkjet printer inks, which I know sounds odd, but it sinks into the wood very well. This one is just a yellow mixture. It looks darker in the bottle, but this is just yellow ink. And this is an orange mix, and this has a bronze mica powder in it. So this will create kind of a pearlescent thing going on with that bronze powder. You will want some form of glove for this, preferably disposable, because this is a messy process, and getting this on your hands is a pain because it does not come off very easy. If you do get it on your skin, I find that tea tree oil works okay in getting it off. It doesn't work great, but compared to everything else I've used, it works pretty good. I just use paper towels for this. Like everything else, I don't really fine shop rags to be necessary. You can do this with the lathe on or off. I generally have it off. Yeah. So I generally have the lathe off for this. This is the yellow one. And I just put it in a spray bottle and apply it directly. And then kind of wipe it on, buff it on. This will give you much brighter colors. But I will say that if you don't know how to do super glue finish, I would not do this, because unless you have a really good seal on this, it will it'll leak through your wax if it gets wet, and it will stain you or whoever happens to be holding the object in question. But it does produce this wildly bright color on this very white wood. Like I said, you're going to want to use something that's very white for doing any kind of color finish, but this in particular. And this is the same thing, but this has a mica powder in it. And I separated this from the other one so they didn't blend together. You will end up wiping a considerable amount of the mica powder off, but that's okay. You can do it with the lathe running too. You will want to spray a lot more with this to make sure that you have an even coat. And you can see what I'm doing with the paper towel there to catch anything that runs off. Yeah. So just let that run for a second, air dry out. And you can kind of see some of the mica powder flakes. I'm not sure if they come across on camera. Sounds like they're not, but there are mica powder little specks in there that make an interesting pearlescent effect. I think that's all of the lathe work that I'm going to do, but I'm going to talk about a few more of the color finishes. I've tried using markers. Markers work okay. Here's another crayon finish. You can. Was that marker? Okay. So that was actually marker. I'm sorry. And these have like a silver paint on the tip. That was really easy. I've also tried doing this. Jimmy Clues did this when he was here 2 years ago. He just took a rag and put on 3 primary colors. So this started with yellow. This started as a whole yellow, and then he took cotton balls in red and blue and put them, just kind of dabbed randomly. This makes a really interesting effect. You can do this with paper towel. That'll make a more wild effect, or cotton balls will make kind of a balloon effect almost. This one looks like it was done with paper towel instead of cotton balls. So you can see that this blends together a lot better, whereas the cotton balls make more of a sphere. I also do segmented work. I didn't have any segmented blanks ready to show you, but the process is the same, just a lot more grunt work getting there. As I'm sure many of you know, these go incredibly well with people who are not familiar with woodworking. they find that really cool. And I do too. I think segmented work is a lot of fun. It does require immense patience. This is the ink with mica powder in it. I'm not sure if that's coming across, but this has like a silver mica powder in it. This one has a lot more than what I just put on, so you should be able to see it pretty good. Finishes. So a lot of times we use a paint and we'll put an iridescent medium in it. So that'll come out kind of like this. So this is a black paint with the iridescent medium. That creates this interesting sparkly effect. This is inexpensive and it's fast. So there's the medium that I use in the paint. Got all kinds of dye for that. I have tried using RIT fabric dye. I don't know if I was doing something wrong or if it just was not a good idea, but it worked with varying degrees of success. Some of them came out fantastic, others didn't. I was talking about those mica powders earlier. So that is a gold mica powder, and they're all from the same maker. So that's a bronze mica powder. And then I have silver and pearl. These work really good for doing in the ink. I do not put these in the paint. And then I just buy large amounts of printer ink, refill as needed. And I just put them in these little glass spray bottles. These are perfect. They don't hold much, but you don't really need much either. A little goes a long way. If anybody is interested in selling this kind of product, I find that a display like this, where they're all close together and you feel like they can, you don't want it to feel like you can't touch them, because this is a very interactive item. So, and then once I've made a sale, they all come with a box. These are with my branding on them. And I have a little envelope for every single one. This just takes a few minutes to make. This has my business card, a little quick story about me, and then this also has information on the wand and information on the wood. So this particular envelope was African Padauk. Yeah, people generally like African Padauk. It has that very red color, but yeah, the information is a really interesting idea, and it seems to work pretty well. People kind of like the idea. It's part of the experience. You make it as much of an experience as you can. It's not just about the product. And then if it's a finer item or it doesn't fit in a box or something like that, I also have these silk bags. These are fantastic. Just slide in there. Usually they wouldn't have these tags on them. These are for us. But these silk bags are cheap. The boxes are cheap. And that kind of adds into the whole experience thing. So these are just branded little bags. They're just little drawstring. They're satin on the inside. And that'll keep the work clean. too. So every time they take it out of the bag, it'll be clean. I think that was all of my talking points. So if anybody has any questions on this, the tools I use, the process, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Ian, this is Jeff.
All right.
Got a couple questions. Number one, where did you get your boxes from?
Where did we get the boxes from? We got them from a company called Amenic. They're based out of California. How expensive are they? They make a bunch of different sizes. These are like biscuit style. And so if I remember correctly, we could only get them in 1 to 7 proportions. So there are 1 inch by 7 inch. These are 2 by 14, and then 3 by 21, so on and so forth. These just assemble really quick. They start out flat, and then they've got these little strips on them. For what we paid for them, these have been absolutely fantastic, and we've gone through probably 800 of them by now. So,
is there any way you can get us
and they were
information?
inexpensive.
Any way you can get us information for contacting them? Either put it on Facebook or something, or
Yeah, we can put it up on the club page or page.
Great.
Yeah, we'll try to put it on the club page if we can.
Okay. Other question I had is, being an old magician, wands are near and dear to me. And I wanted to ask you if you've noticed this, but people who use wands for different things, be it magicians, Wicca, Harry Potter, fans, people like that, are they very strict on specifics with the wands? They want things a certain way, and
it's wildly dependent on the person. We've gotten a lot of people that come in knowing exactly what they want, and they need a custom order. We've had other people that like everything on the rack and can't pick. And
those are the good people.
Right. Those are the easy ones.
Yeah.
I generally offer people, like if they want to buy but they don't see anything they like, I generally offer them custom orders. That is kind of dependent on how much time you have. But yeah, it's really just wildly dependent on the person.
Okay.
You said you were a magician. I've never really turned like the traditional magician style wand.
Well, we don't generally use anything real crazy. Some guys will get a personal wand made, but we're pretty, usually if we do something different, we're doweling it up with rhinestones or something like that.
Right.
Or we're making it shoot fire or things like that. The reason I asked is I happen to know a couple people who are practicing witches, and they are very specific about their wands. They have different wands for different reasons, and they have different types of crystals in them, that type of thing. That's why I wanted to ask that. And I've heard that the Harry Potter people are kind of like that too.
To a lesser extent.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, with the Harry Potter people, it's very much about the aesthetics. They're very much more interested in what the wand looks like.
Yeah.
And we've found in the pagan community, they're definitely more interested in what the wand is made of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That generally
that's been my experience as well. Harry Potter people want their wand to look like their favorite character's wand.
Yeah, I don't do replicas because all those wands are really short and they're completely ridiculous. So,
well, some of them are really
a lot of those you can't even do on a lathe.
Well, I was gonna say you can't turn a crooked wand.
Yeah, a lot of
pretty
them
much hand carving.
A lot of them are crooked. Harry's in specific has a big knurl on the back of it. So a lot of those you just can't do on a lathe, and I won't because I do my own work, not somebody else's.
Right.
The other thing that we have found in the pagan community is people want wands that are a very, very specific length. And we have learned that that length is generally from the crook of their elbow to the end of their middle finger, to the tip of their middle finger.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure where that particular measurement comes from, but we've heard that over and over and over from our pagan customers.
Interesting.
That's generally much longer than I would make them. I only have a 16-inch lathe, so a lot of people I just couldn't make them that long. But I do have some that would work for some people. Like this would probably work for most people. It's a little short on me, but I have generally preferred a longer style. But
that's also how that elbow to the index finger is how you measure a short sword blade length also.
Yes, it is.
Any other questions for WizKid?
I got two.
You have two. All right.
I don't see this is Chuck. You don't use a steady rest at all.
I do not.
Okay. Do you have a lot of vibration not using that? Because it's quite long.
Only on some really long pieces. Like I've turned 15 or 16-inch bloodwood. That will give me some vibration problems. Why are we echoing?
I fixed it. You had two of you had the second camera was on too.
Okay. So we'll have occasionally we'll have vibration problems, but those are few and far between. But generally, no, I don't need a steady rest.
What's your blank size?
I will usually turn 1 by 1 by 12 up to 1 by 1 by 14 or 15.
Okay.
I try not to go any bigger than 1 by 1 unless it's really soft, because then you're just turning away more wood than you're saving, which makes the process take considerably longer. So that's kind of up to preference, but.
Got a question in chat. What finish do you put over the crayon and printer ink dye?
The crayons, I actually leave them alone. They are wax-based, so generally that is enough. It won't scrape off because it's melted into the wood. The super glues, I will generally use a CA finish. You can them, but if you wax over them, then if they get wet, then they might rub off on your hand, and it won't affect the piece, but then when you're holding it, your hands are going to be all yellow. So I generally try to do a CA finish over all of the ink. The paint just kind of finishes itself, and crayons, I don't put anything over them. Good question, though. Any more?
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I got an offer. Have you ever worked with a wood called Jarrah?
I don't think so, no.
From Australia, I've got a ton of it. I just gave some Matt about 2 weeks ago. It's a gorgeous red material. I'll give you some so you can try it out. It's very nice.
All right. Thank you.
Another wood I can recommend that's really nice to work with and gorgeous from South America is called Hoitoba. It's not spelled that way. It's like Jobilla, but it's called Hoitoba. Hoyoba. I'm sorry, Hoyoba.
We have used that a few times.
So it's a nice wood.
That is nice to work with.
Yeah, I make a lot of higher end pens with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, Ian, thank you very much. This was a great demo, and
absolutely.
I actually learned a few things. So thank you very much.
Teach somebody.
Yeah.
Can we unmute? Give them a round of applause.
What was that?
Can we unmute and give them a round of applause?
Yes. Let's unmute them, guys.
Unmute everybody.
Thank you, guys.
I don't think we got everybody unmuted, but
Yeah, we tried.
we tried. That's all we can do. Thank you. Can we spotlight me now? Okay, well, another great demo and a great meeting. We're actually getting good at the Zoom stuff. I did some more technical stuff today that I spent some time learning. So we're at the point of show and tell now. So I hopefully some folks brought some things. I'm going to show the first thing. It's actually a work in progress. This is a piece of, I believe it's honey locust because it's like turning rock. But it had some cracks in it and it had a couple spots where twigs were growing out of the side of the wood. And when I turned it, what happened was the little pieces on the inside fell out, left a hole. So I cleaned that up and I poured in some purple resin, and I just use a purple mica powder. And then the cracks, I use black CA, and I just finished this the other night. I've got a little hole down here with black CA. So I'm going to finish turning it, and it was an experiment to see how you could fix things like that using black CA and resin and stuff. And so I'm going to finish turning it and probably have it at next month's meeting to show it off, if it comes out okay. So that's my thing for show and tell today. Anybody else?
I do. This is Chuck.
Okay, Chuck.
Can you spotlight me?
Yep, there you are.
Am I spotlighted?
You are. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the first one. So we had a tree taken down, and so did our neighbor. They had a cherry, we had a maple. And I made a bunch of thin-stemmed goblets. This one's pretty short, but I made some that were like yay tall. My neighbors already got theirs. So I did that. So these were a lot of fun. Matt actually called me because I posted. I was what, 3 for 5 or 3 for 6 or something. So it's great to have some advice from people in the club. I was turning the stems way, way, way too thin, and they turned into jump ropes. I also used, Matt gave me a couple ideas with using tape, and I tried the Rudy method with clothespins for stem. And then I tried to make a box, but the lid didn't stick, so I now have a nice pencil cup. I blew the lid up, so oh well, turned a mistake into pencil.
Yeah, I've made a lot of pencil cups that way, and they sell. So.
And last is this. I don't know if you can see it. I had this sitting from my neighbor's tree. First wing bowl I ever made. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Just a crotch piece of cherry from a choke cherry. Something. There's a big crack in it because it was a grafted tree probably. So I filled that I started with CA and coffee grounds, and I ended up with Craft Supplies makes this stone dust that's black, and I put that in there. So, yep. So this was fun. I got to make more of these.
Okay, anybody else got anything to show?
Actually, Ian wants to show you the box.
Oh, okay.
So we actually made these as our displays. They're just they're just a wood box, and they have passport stamps all over them on both sides. We made these with my grandfather, so we used his shop because his shop is much more expensive than mine.
So you can see here, hold it up a little. You can see here on the outside of the box, we've got these slide latches, and these actually hook into our folding shelves, and that's what makes our full display, is the folding shelves, and then these boxes, when they're open, they hook into the shelves, and that's our whole entire display.
Oh, wow.
We have 2 of these, and that's our whole display. They're like 31s each for 60.
A good idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all made out of just, extra scrap wood.
Yeah.
And they work as travel cases. We can rubber band wands into them, so they don't fall out and slide all over the place. And then we can use them as 60-piece travel cases and just flip them open and you're ready to go.
Cool.
I've seen your display. Do you have a picture of it? Because it's pretty cool.
I can find one. Hang on. Let some other people do show and tell. I'll find one and put it up on the screen in a minute.
Okay, who else got something to show?
Well, I always have
I do.
something to show.
Okay.
Where's my phone?
That's because you're in the shop every single day.
And not every single day, just 4 or 5 days a week. One of the
Okay.
things I'd make little bowls out of wood that's sitting on the back of my of something else I make. So like I got this little bowl I made. It's just, you know, it was waste wood. So, but this is perfect for holding screws when I'm changing chuck jaws and stuff like that, little knickknacks. And this piece here was waste wood also, had some bark on it, and I've made it into a little bowl, and you can sort of see how thin it is at the top. Let me see if I can, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's pretty thin up at the top, but it's just like, it's a little natural edge rice bowl. I got some refinement to do on that yet, but it's just a little something I made just out of waste wood. Don't let anything go to waste. You know, make a little something out of what you got left.
Yeah. Good advice. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got a couple,
I do.
Jeff.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Go ahead, Paul, wherever you are.
I'm over here.
Yeah,
I'm in the basement.
Okay, you're
spotlight.
highlighted.
Go, Paul.
Okay, I have what I call the twins, which is for a customer of mine. I just finished them. It's really nice ambrosia maple, really nice figures on it. And this is the other one. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the ambrosia is real close to being identical, and they're both off the same log, just one off each side. And I just finished them yesterday.
What's the finish on them?
Just Danish oil.
Danish oil? Okay. They're beautiful.
Nothing else.
Absolutely beautiful.
I just have to buff them yet, but that'll be in a couple weeks when they dry.
Very cool. Nice work.
Okay. Anybody else?
All right,
Yeah,
I found the
Bob.
picture.
Oh, okay.
So I think I just hit share screen, right?
Yep.
Oh, host has disabled participant screen sharing. No luck.
Really?
Yeah. So, how can I do this?
I have no idea how to fix that. Because I didn't do that. I didn't plan it that way.
Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can do it a different way.
Is somebody else sharing screen? Because only one, the box that's ticked is only one can share.
You should be able to do it now, Jen.
Okay.
Okay.
Coming soon. Hey, there we
we
go. So this is our display when we're outdoors.
Wow.
This is just a 10 by 10 pop-up tent, nothing fancy. But in order to try and hide the fact that it's a modern day pop-up tent, we cut a little black fabric to go around the top, tried to cover it with the ivy. These are our little folding shelves that I was talking about. These fold completely flat for travel. They're absolutely amazing. And then there's our two boxes. They literally just use those slide latches to latch into the shelves.
I see.
So
That's cool.
very
That's a
That is
simple.
really cool.
The backdrops here, these are printed curtains that I ordered on Amazon.
Awesome. How long does it take you to set up?
About 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, and that's from pulling in to ready to sell. It takes about 2 hours.
Okay, great. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
display.
And then that black box right there, that is our pen box. The top opens and then it's got 5 drawers
Okay.
full of pens.
Very cool.
Yeah, very fun.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
This last week, we had neighbors had to have trees taken down, and I got some wood out of it because it fascinated me. And it's the natural color. And
What
I
is
was
that?
able to take and make wood. Well, it's a good question. And I've had other people ask.
Pictures of you.
Looks a little bit like hackberry.
Well, I was talking with British woodturners the other day, or a week and a half ago for their meeting, because I got asked to be a member of it. And this is a bigger piece, because this is the whole trunk.
Wow.
Huh.
And I like turning stuff slightly off center because I think the character of the tree is important. And this is was fun to do, and it's been hollowed.
Maybe it's a fruit wood or something. I don't know. Interesting.
Well, the Brits think that it's a form of yew which somewhat I believe in because of some of the other stuff that I found in history and digging up some history back in Fort Pontchartrain days and the French and what they did around Detroit, because they brought British yew and French yew and planted them in Ontario. And then later on, during the French ownership of Detroit, Fort Detroit, they actually planted trees here because it's waterproof, it floats easy, it's easy to work with, and it isn't affected by bugs. There's a bunch of places that around the Detroit area, they have it. My neighbor happened to have 4 of them in his yard.
That's a beautiful wood.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
Then also I was turning, he had a vine that had grown on his house, and this was part of a vine. And if I count the number of rings in it, there isn't any because it's a vine. So I took this and made a nice little holder for a 2-inch base candle to sit in it.
Oh, that's cool.
There was a bunch of it.
Very cool.
And this was some of the vine, but had been there for years and years, as you can tell by the size. It's all over his house, and supposedly the vine was there back in the 30s when the house was built.
Well, it's good he got it off his house, because that'll just mess up everything.
Oh, it did. He passed away, and now they're trying to figure out what to do with the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Anybody else got anything to show? Last
I
call.
have a question for you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to turn this around so you can see my lathe. Just having a curiosity situation here. So, that didn't work because you got my background in the way, I guess. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of my background.
It is totally taken over.
You killed with
virtual background. Remove. None. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
So, my tailstock, this is a jet lathe, similar to what you got at the club there, is really, really tight in here. And I don't see anywhere to put oil or stuff. How do I loosen this up so it's free moving?
What you're probably going to have to do is take the hand wheel off.
Yeah.
Take the lock off completely, and then remove the whole piece.
Okay.
And then you can then unscrew it, clean it up, lubricate it. I use dry lube on mine.
I know as well that you can crank your entire quill out, and sometimes that will show where you've got clogs or something. Just cleaning that out can be enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleaning out your quill threads and blowing out the inside of that.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's just, you just crank it out with the hand wheel and everything. But Jeff's right. The next step is to take your hand wheel off after that's out and go from there.
And what I also do is I'll take a piece of 4/0 steel wool on a dowel rod, and I'll go up inside of that and clean that all out.
I got that here also. Yeah, I can do that.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Uh-huh. Yep. That's what we're here for. Anybody else?
So Ian just asked if there was going to be a President's Challenge on the wands.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, we are so excited to see what you guys come up with.
Yeah. Let's be creative.
I dare you Do something I didn't do in the demo. Do something I didn't talk about.
Turn a crooked one like Harry Potter.
Well, believe me, we understand that all of you guys could outturn us in your sleep.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're really excited to see what you come up with.
Well, let me tell you, I for one think that Ian does amazing work. I know there's some people that might say, Juan, well, big deal. Well, you know what? Wands are very important, and they're very important for the people who collect them, and they're cool. They're absolutely cool.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I will say, anybody that's new to spindle turning, it's a great place to start. Wands or pens is a fantastic place to start spindle turning.
Yeah, because you know, all the years I've been turning, I don't do a lot of spindle work, so I've been kind of getting myself into that mode. So this will be a good practice for me, and also to use my skew. So
yes,
yeah,
I'm trying to use that more often. Yeah.
Yeah, the skew it's scary to learn, and if it catches you, then you're gonna crap your pants. But it's
the catches can be catastrophic.
Steve will tell you.
We went to Steve's to learn how to use the skew, and he's a phenomenal teacher with that particular tool. So I highly recommend talking to Steve if you're nervous about using your skew.
Yeah, thank you for putting that out there. Yeah, Steve is wonderful.
Wizard with that thing.
That was just open finish cans.
So you're the whiz kid, and he's the whiz guy. Well.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else? Last call. Okay, our next meeting will be September 20th. Again, the room will be open at 12:30. The meeting will start at 1:30, and the President's Challenge will be wands. And so I'm looking forward to see what people put out there. All your President's Challenges have to be posted on Facebook. If you don't have access to Facebook or you can't figure out how to do it, send the image to me with any little description you want to have on it. I'll get it up there for you. And you've got until midnight on September 20th to get that to me. So, so looking forward to seeing everybody then. And in closing, I am really, really proud of the club and how we have handled this whole pandemic and shutdown and everything, and having to convert everything over to using technology for these meetings. And the fact that nobody has really complained. You know, I expected to get some calls from people saying they don't like this, but nobody's complained. And the positive side of the pandemic is it kind of pushed our club into starting to use more technology. And you're going to see more things coming down the road, because even when we start meeting again, face-to-face, all of our meetings are going to be going out on Zoom for any member that can't make it. And we're doing some other things that will be coming down the road that I don't want to mention yet because we got to figure it out. So, so I'm very proud of the club, and I want to say thank you to everybody for being so understanding. And in closing, I just want to say, be safe. Wear your mask whether you like it or not, because it's just helping. That's all there is to it. And matter of fact, if you don't like wearing a mask, get a mask that says, I hate wearing a mask, like the governor said. So be safe. Be safe in your shop. Be safe out in public. And until we see you next time, take care.
Hey, Jeff, I got a quick question.
Okay.
One of the things that several of the clubs online are doing are inviting smaller clubs to join them in their meetings. And I know that some of the much smaller clubs, like say the Blue Water Turners, that we have a lot of members in common with, then I know that they haven't been holding meetings, and I don't know if it's an issue, but something to ask the board if they, if we could, want to extend an invitation to them or something to join our meetings or something like that online. I know some of the people over there and they might enjoy that. So I don't know, just a thought.
Okay, I'm writing that down now, and we will ask the board that.
Yeah, and I don't know if MA is doing it, Michigan Association is doing anything, but I mean, we've done demos with them in the past, so I don't know if that's something that they'd be interested in either. But I don't know, just something to ask.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Ed Hawk.
Yes.
I'm Ian's grandfather.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for the invite. Very good. I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad you could join us.
You're more
You
than welcome.
know, we love Ian. Ian's great. And Ian held the first workshop when we were meeting at PCAC on turning wands, and it was standing room only. There was actually people that came in and left because there was no place for them to get into a lathe.
Wow.
So yeah.
He's
So
a good learner.
yeah,
We started out way long time ago. So
excellent.
thank you again.
Thank you. Okay. Well, everybody.
So Jeff, let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
I pulled it apart. There appears to be dimples on it from the guy that I got it from before. It's like he was trying to screw it in areas where there weren't it wasn't supposed to be. So I just took a light file over those to get the nubs off of them. If I don't have any other kind of lubricant, can I use like WD-40 in there?
You can. Yeah, you can use a liquid lubricant or 3-in-1 oil or something like that. The only thing with that is that it gets dirty faster.
Okay.
That's why I went to a dry lubricant. But if that's all you got, that's what I used originally until I discovered the dry lubricant.
Furniture wax works great.
What does?
Furniture wax.
Oh, okay.
I do that. My lathe is completely waxed with furniture. Mine got sticky the other day after 5 or 6 years, and I just re-waxed it with furniture wax, taking it apart like you said. And
Phil, do you put that inside your quill?
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, then. Well, everybody, we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Take care. Be safe.
Be safe, everyone.
Thank you.